So, here's a question for you. Can losing just a few hours of sleep actually change the fundamental timeline of growing up? You might think the answer is obvious, but the science, well, it reveals a pretty surprising and honestly kind of concerning twist. Let's get into it.
Okay, let's start with just one number, but it's a big one, 77%. So what is that? Well, according to the CDC, that's how many American high schoolers are not getting enough sleep on school nights. Just let that sink in for a second. We're talking more than 3 out of every 4 teenagers. And yeah, we all know that leads to being tired and groggy. But the real question goes so much deeper than that. What is this constant lack of sleep actually doing inside a developing teenager's body? Turns out, the answer is way more complex and frankly a lot more alarming than you'd probably think. And this is where we get to the big twist in this whole story. It's a classic case of what our common sense tells us should happen versus what science is actually seeing.
So on one side, you've got what feels logical, right? If your body is stressed out and sleep deprived, you'd expect these huge developmental projects, like puberty, to slow down. But then, on the other side, you have the science, and a large, recent study found the complete opposite. For a lot of kids, and especially for girls, getting less sleep was linked to puberty starting earlier.
Wait, what? How is that even possible? How can less rest actually speed up development? Well, the answer comes down to this one really important hormone that basically acts like the body's natural brake system for puberty.
And that hormone is melatonin. Now, you probably know it as the sleep hormone, right? It's the stuff your brain releases in the dark to make you feel drowsy. But here's the thing. During childhood, it has another super important job. It actively holds back the hormones that kick off puberty. It's like a natural brake, making sure things don't get started too soon.
Okay, so this is where our modern world totally clashes with our biology. You know all that blue light from phones, from tablets, from all our screens? It's basically tricking our brains. It mimics daylight. So when a teenager is up late scrolling in their dark bedroom, that light is sending this really strong but totally wrong signal to their brain. It's screaming, hey, it's still daytime, hold off on that melatonin.
And when that melatonin signal gets shut down night after night, well, what happens? The body's natural brake on puberty just lets go. The system gets a green light to start the whole process, and it might be happening way too early. All right, so you might be sitting there thinking, okay, so what? What's the big deal if puberty starts a little bit earlier? Well, it turns out that from a health perspective, the timing of all this, it really matters.
You see, researchers have linked early puberty to a whole bunch of serious long-term health risks. We're talking about things like a higher lifetime risk for certain cancers and increased rates of depression and anxiety. It's also tied to a greater chance of metabolic problems down the road. And it's not just physical. Think about the huge psychological challenge when a kid's body is growing up way faster than they are emotionally.
And we can actually put a number on this risk. The data from that study I mentioned, it's pretty striking. Girls who didn't get enough sleep were almost 1.5 times more likely to experience early maturation compared to those who got plenty of rest. So this isn't some small, random connection. It's a really clear link between a modern habit and a massive change in our biology.
Okay, so knowing the problem is step one. But the next, and obviously most important step, is figuring out what we can actually do about it. And the good news is, the advice from the experts is super clear and straightforward.
Pretty much all the big health organizations like the CDC point to 4 key things. First, protect the hours. Teens need 8 to 10 hours of sleep. Seriously, that's not a suggestion, it's a biological necessity. Second, create a no-screen buffer zone. Shutting down devices at least 30 minutes before bed give that melatonin a chance to do its thing. Third, be consistent. A regular sleep schedule, even on weekends, really helps lock in the body's internal clock. And last, think about the room itself. A cool, dark, and quiet space isn't just about being comfy. It's what you need for that deep sleep that actually gets the job done.
All this really forces us to think about sleep differently. It is not just downtime. It's not a passive state at all. It is the literal operating system of development, when the body is busy doing some of its most critical work. So, this all leaves us with one final, pretty big question to think about. If something as basic as sleep and light can have such a powerful effect on a teen's developmental clock, what else is out there? What else in their environment might be quietly changing their biology right under our noses?